Alak is talking about having an anticipation of a celebration. They told you almost a year ago that Iraq would be the savior of the financial system and bring confidence to the world. We're seeing them at the end of that transformation. Some of our sources said that the Iraqi dinar as well as some of the other currencies are to be placed on the Forex. Now we've had the fact that they've traded. We have not seen them on our Forex screens, but the theory is that once the dinar is on the Forex, we're off to the races. So, now since the census is taken, the Goy can legally compensate and prove why they are compensating the amounts to the Kurds. This is really wow. News for us today. You can see how this census results would also be useful in rebuilding the Iraqi economy besides Article 140 and HCL disputes. It was way overdue. This is yet another sign to us investors that Iraq is now serious about moving ahead. In the study of the recent Iraqi census taking, you can clearly see the recent census was a national census taken with the help of the United Nations, UN. The UN every so many decades takes a global census to determine the world's population and demographics. Iraq is also going to use this census as part of the Article 140 distribution of the Kurdistan monthly payments of oil revenues to the region from the Goy. It will also help resolve part of the oil and gas law. Note, I did not say excess oil revenues or oil wealth distribution. This census taking has very little to do with the HCL individual oil revenue sharing/distribution. The government has not neglected to implement the national strategy for the private sector, which hopes that the private sector's contribution to the country's GDP will increase from 37% currently to more than 54% in the coming years. The GDP was derived 95% from oil. Now they're talking about the private sector is going to increase up from 37% to more than 54%. Sudani on television again this afternoon saying the CBI has progressed in the 77 past years and they have dealt with all the challenges and the reforms. Alak on television talking about the CBI, the more we listen the more it sounds like he's telling us they're going to be giving us our purchasing power very soon. Frank, they're telling you your country, bank, economy is exploding. That's impossible at a program rate. It's their way of telling you what they promised you, purchasing power in your currency. It is coming. Question, do you have a guesstimate of rates? Marks, on the dong we have seen anything from 0.39 cents to $3.90 recently. I am hearing now that it could be closer to the $3.50. $3.90 range. I am hearing low $4s on the dinar, but they have seen $6, $8. The CBI and the US Treasury are monitoring the black market. The market of Iraq should reflect the official exchange rate. There should not be any other exchange rate to compete against the official exchange rate. There should be only a single exchange rate in a country, not two or three. That's what the monetary reform education is teaching the citizens right now. Alak on the platform closure, there is no sudden transition, but rather a gradual one that will be completed within 2 weeks. Alak announced that the monetary situation in Iraq is at its best. External transfers for trade purposes are proceeding smoothly after the implementation of the new system. There is no sudden transition, but rather a gradual transition that began in 2024. Where the bank's relationship was transferred directly to correspondent banks without going through other links. And the process was completed successfully. More than 95% of this goal has been achieved, and this process will be completed successfully within the next 2 weeks. There is international anticipation to celebrate this occasion. None of my sources say it's happening today, but some folks think the next 3 days are highly possible. We are hearing a constant drone of how the Goy is trying to combat the parallel market/black market. Once again, I am calling BS. Any thinking person can understand and realize, the way you put an instant end to the black market is to revalue the currency, IQD, to a rate higher, more valuable than the dollar. I maintain that this is nothing more than a stall tactic to hold off the RV/RE of the IQD. Occam's razor is almost always the correct answer, but why are they doing this? Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani announced the government's communication with the team of US President-elect Donald Trump. Al-Sudani, who arrived in Madrid yesterday evening, said in the most important points of his interview with the Spanish newspaper El Mundo, we are facing a distinguished stage in relations with Spain, and there is a mutual desire to develop and advance them in all areas. Spain is part of the international coalition that helped us eliminate the terrorist ISIS, and at our request, the mission of the international coalition will end within 2 years because the justification for its existence has ceased. The capabilities of our security services have reached an advanced stage and there is political stability that has been reflected in the general situation of the country.